Welcome to this week's blogging video. It is all about every single thing that I spend money on to keep my 7-figure blog afloat. So these are all business expenses that I have now had after doing this for 4 years, 5 years almost, in like a few months. And I think this is just really interesting and an in-detail look on the overhead, what it takes to keep a blog up. And also we're gonna compare what I spent the first year on my blog versus now. So obviously the first year I spent way less money on my website because I wasn't really making money. Whereas now we're making a lot more money, and so we can spend money on different things. So I'm basically breaking those down, and you can see an in-depth look on every single thing that I spend money on for my 7-figure blog. All right, I have my laptop right here and I have a big list. So I think the easiest way to do this is to first start with what I was spending money on that first year. So that first year I was a college student, I didn't have money, and I wasn't making money from my website. So every single thing that I spent, I mean, literally if I spent $10 on my blog, like it was extremely thought out to make sure that it was worth that expense. So the first year, I only spent money on 4 things. And the first thing was hosting. So I got my hosting through Bluehost. I have a whole page on my website going over exactly how I started my blog, like every single step on how to just get a blog up and running. There's like a lot of strategic things that I recommend. This is one of the things that I look back. There's a lot of things that I look back on and like, okay, you did that way wrongly. You should have done this differently. But how I actually started my website is one of those things that I'm like, okay, you did a good job on that. Like I would do it the same way now, and we still actually do, because we're like creating some like, you know, there's like other websites happening behind the scenes kind of. I feel like that's making it sound like we're not. They're like all tied into BSL, but we do it in the exact same way. So if you're looking to start a blog, I have a whole thing on that. But basically to start the blog, I needed to buy hosting and I needed to buy a website theme. So I bought hosting, and every single link for all the exact products are gonna be in the description. And then I bought the website theme and I paid extra for installation. So again, where I bought my website theme will be in the description, but they had an option where you could pay them to install the theme yourself. And so I think I like got it as a birthday gift. Honestly, like I don't even think I paid for that part of it. And so that was so nice, because setting up a theme you definitely can do on your own. It just is like a little bit difficult. So to have that done was awesome. So hosting, website theme, and then I spent money on courses, which huge believer in courses the first year. I always say, I think that's one of the reasons why my blog grew so fast, is because instead of me trying to spend months and months figuring out something on my own, I would buy a course from a blogger who already figured it out, and that saved me months of time. So highly recommend taking courses. And then also I spent money on a stock image website. And that was so I could use like stock images on my blog, because how I started, I was anonymous. So now we take a lot of our own photos in-house. Actually, like every single photo we try to take in-house at this point. But in the beginning, I didn't have that bandwidth. And so I would use stock images instead. So the first year, hosting for the blog, website theme and installation, courses, and then the stock image website. So that's not a lot. Like in total, that was I probably spent $500 throughout the course of the year, which kind of out loud, that sounds like a lot. But if you think about like spreading that out between 12 months, really it's not that much. And that's to get a whole business started. So the overhead of a blog is extremely low. Like it is so low that we struggle with taxes, because we bring in so much money and we just don't spend a lot of money. Where like for other companies, they can get, this is a whole tangent I shouldn't even get into. But moral of it all, blogging overhead is really, really low. So as I go through what we pay for now, compared to what we make, it's not a lot. Also, I'm looking at my crotch is looking a little weird in here. Okay, so I'm gonna try to go through these decently fast so it's not like boring. Here is what we are spending on, and we are expanding our business into a lot of different avenues, like specifically the house that we're renovating. So a lot of money has gone into that house. I didn't include that into here because it's like irrelevant kind of. So the expenses that I'm about to say are strictly for the website front of things. So first we have salaries and wages. So that's my salary, that's all the BSL employee salaries. We now have 6 of us, maybe more, 6-ish. Some people are part-time, some are full-time. So salaries and wages. We then pay for our email provider. And again, I have a note in here. Links for the exact companies we use are in the description of this video. So like I have the exact email provider we use, the exact theme we use, different stuff like that will be exactly in the description. Okay, so then we have the email provider. Actually, we're paying for both email providers. We have 2 email providers. So we switched from what email provider we were using last year into a new one this year. And I've been hesitant to stop paying for the other one, even though we should, because it's literally as much as my rent that I live in for my apartment. But there's just so much that we have that I'm scared if we like delete it, then we're going to be like, oh shit, like we need this from there. So that's just a personal problem that I need to get through. But okay, then we have Shopify Store and apps to go along with that. So we have a tangible product, a planner. So that is where we sell that. So we needed a separate Shopify store, and then there's just like separate apps that we pay for, like a review app, different things like that. We still pay for hosting every single year. We have changed the hosting because basically the one that we started with, so we started with Bluehost, and I always use this comparison because I think it's like the perfect, easy way to understand it. So Bluehost is like the Walmart of blogging hosting. It's extremely inexpensive. Like you really cannot get cheaper than Bluehost hosting. And in the beginning, you don't know if you're gonna stick with it. And also the chance that you're gonna get a lot of views in the beginning are just slim to none. Like it takes about a year at least to start getting consistent people coming to your website. So as we got more and more and more readers, and also we were earning more income, then we knew it was time to not expand, but like up level our hosting so that our website ran faster. But that would have been a waste of money in my opinion in the beginning because it just wasn't necessary. All right, then we pay for ClickUp. So ClickUp is like our project management system. It is, we swear by ClickUp, like it's the best thing ever. It keeps us so organized. I actually think I'm gonna do a in-depth bonus in our Perfecting Blogging course on how we use ClickUp for the website. So every single one of the BSL employees, I mean, we just use it religiously. It keeps us organized with posts. We have everything saved on there, every single printable, every single document, every single budget sheet, literally everything. So I started using ClickUp back in 2017 or 18, like really early on. Like I wish I invested in ClickUp because I got in so early. I probably could have invested in it. And so everything is saved that I've ever had on it. It's incredible. So we use ClickUp for project management. We use Adobe programs, so Illustrator and Photoshop. We do some of our, that's like more like for photos and like social media side of things and marketing stuff. Canva, we use Canva for printables, different stuff like that. Google Storage, so now we save a lot of things in Google Drive as well. We try to double save the important stuff. So Google Storage we have to pay for because we needed more of that. Google Email, so we all use Google Emails as our email host for like our personal emails that we use. Content expenses, so that's different things that I'll buy for like photos or for blog posts or for Instagrams, different things like that. We have SEO tools to help us research SEO and different things that we need to know for blog posts, what we're writing on, projections on research, like different, just, you know, I could go on and on about that. Teachable, so Teachable is what we host our courses on. So we have 3 courses now. We have Perfecting Blogging, which is our first course, Perfecting Pinterest, and Perfecting Email. So all of those courses are hosted on Teachable, QuickBooks, accounting. I hate QuickBooks, I hate accounting, but we need to do that. We still pay for a stock image website. We don't use it all the time anymore, but we definitely do use it occasionally. The nice thing about the stock image website is they run sales, so we'll just like load up on them, and then it's not like a monthly fee. It's like you get like points for every single one, so that's nice. We pay for a storage unit now, which is to hold house stuff, but also like planners and different stuff. Pay for accountant, a lawyer, rent and utilities, insurance, tangible products, so like that's the planner, tax jar, which is sales tax, so that figures out the sales tax for everything that we sell, and then HR expenses. And HR expenses at this point are like birthday gifts, Christmas gifts, last day of like different, like last day of working, different stuff like that. So that is the full list of things that we use. As I've said a million times, the exact companies that we use for each of these will be in the description. But I think that is just like a really interesting look into how much our expenses have grown. Like I said, also, for what we make, our expenses are actually really, really low, like too low. Like we need to spend more money on things for taxes. But it is interesting just to see that behind the scenes. And I also think it's super important to note, like when you're first starting your blog, be cognizant of what you're spending. Like as the business grew, so did our expenses. And it would have been we would have been out of business if I spent all the money that I spend on all the different programs. Like you don't need all of these. Actually, you don't need 90% of them probably. They just make life easier. And so now that we can do it, we do it. But in the beginning, you just need to make sure that you can stay consistent with it, because it is so difficult to stay consistent with a blog. And so just spend the bare minimum so you can make sure, like, is this for me? Do I actually enjoy it? Do I see a future in it? So like I said, pay for hosting, pay for your website theme, maybe pay for installation if you have if you have like an extra $100 to spend. I know, like, I say $100 like it's nothing now. Back when I started a blog, $100, like I would spend a week and a half debating if I could spend $100 or not, maybe even a month. That was a huge deal. And so I completely understand how cognizant and specific that you need to be when you're starting this business. Courses, stock images, it's debatable. Like you might not need to spend that money. But hopefully that was helpful. Please, please, please leave some blogging video recommendations. What do you want to see? What questions do you have below? We are getting our summer calendar right and tight. We have a lot of videos planned already. However, I feel like we're starting to get repetitive a little bit. So if you can give some ideas on what you want to see, every single video we do on here is ideas that come from you, comments, our Facebook group, so you can get into our Facebook groups if you take one of our courses, and this blogging page, like the whole blogging side of the business is getting a huge emphasis. I think we might hire a full-time person actually to specifically think about this side of the business. I obviously, like, I'm in everything, like I am, but like just the behind the scenes stuff, it's just really important. And I really, really like doing it. Like I love the educational side of it. So leave your recommendations below. Subscribe to the blogging email list. We'll also have a link for that below. And I hope you have a great week. I'll see you at next week's blogging video.